Welcome to Wellness Wednesday Mornings with Luann and Tim. A huge thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show for us. We so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Impeachment vote day. Oi.
So
guess what I'll be watching all day?
Somebody, I forget who it was. It might have been Kellyanne's husband, George. Is that
George?
His name? Yeah. Somebody tweeted about how having a narcissistic personality disorder, as many people think that President Trump has, that we should be ready for a barrage, like even more of a tweet storm than usual, because one thing that for a narcissist, it's the impending doom that they can't control. When they can't control stuff, it makes them crazy. You were watching a press conference and he was out of office.
He was, one of the reporters came right out and asked him, do you take any responsibility for your impeachment process? He said, no, none whatsoever. It's a sham, it's a hoax, blah, blah, blah,
Did you see
blah,
the
blah.
6-page letter he wrote to Nancy Pelosi?
What? What a, just like, you know what? He would be an HR problem in any kind of regular company. He would seriously not be able to work with other people.
I was watching some stuff last night from whatever was going on yesterday when they were talking in Congress was talking whatever, and they're still saying it was not fair. It was not fair. We couldn't call witnesses, and the guy's like, yes, you could. You chose not to.
Exactly. There were 4 or 5 that they said don't go, or there will be repercussions for you. So they listened to Trump and didn't go. Now they're saying, oh, he didn't have a voice. Blah blah. Well, you know what? You can't have it both ways.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see.
Very.
What's your take? He's going down?
He's going to be impeached, but then nothing's going to happen.
No.
I like the idea of Congress holding on to the articles of impeachment, not passing it on to the Senate, continuing to investigate him, trying to get those bank statements, seeing if there is more of a Russian connection, and then finding more articles of impeachment to the point where it's undeniable. And if the Senate didn't impeach, they would look like they were partisan.
Idiots, yeah. And it's difficult because the Democrats are going forward pretty quickly, and the Republicans are saying that's one of the problems.
Going too fast.
Because you're going too fast, but the Democrats don't want to go through the actual legal court system with any of their accusations, because that will take months and months and months. And the Republicans want that.
Yes.
So that's why they're going so quickly.
I really, really hope that all the other stuff that's going on with his finances and the New York District Attorney's Office investigating, asking for his business finances, his children's, all that kind of stuff, I'm hoping that might uncover more of a Russian connection somewhere along the way to show that he does have financial interest there, loans from Russian government, all oligarchs, whatever.
Rudy Giuliani yesterday admitted that he tried to oust Maria Petrokovic. My apologies.
I know who you mean.
The foreign minister, or the U.S. ambassador.
She was the ambassador
in Ukraine. He came right out and said, I was working to get rid of her.
Yeah, because she was not going to help us investigate Biden, which is, in their words, Biden is corruption.
Yes, and he just got back from Ukraine. Like,
Rudy.
What?
And Donald Trump says he loves America. That's why he's doing this.
Yeah.
He loves you.
I think he does.
Got a boy crush. I'm not going to watch the impeachments. I'm going to do the other thing that is supposed to happen today. It's Baked Cookies Day.
Woo!
It's National Baked Cookies Day.
I'm not even asking you. Usually I'd say, so you'll bring me some. He never does. It's been a year and a half, not one time.
I've got to
not one time.
Remember how I told you that one time when Walmart was going out of business in the station mall, and so I went down and I bought all the Chippets?
Yes.
And then you were like, Tim, you realize that Chippets have expiry dates?
Yes.
I was like, what? So I got to use all those Chippets.
You know what?
So I'm going to Christmas bake with Chippets.
I'm doing Chippets too. I just went and got a whole bunch. I forgot you had some. I should have bought some from you.
I could have just given them to you. I got them for like
seriously.
$1.
But you know what though? That's a great day to be, because I'm
thinking, you know what else it is?
I have only a few chores left to do before Christmas, and I want to get some baking done. So
it is the anniversary of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It debuted on this date in 1966.
Way.
So how about this?
1966.
I was 4.
Can you imitate the Grinch?
No, can you?
Yes.
Go. Oh, dear Lord.
Right? I could do the Grinch. It's my claim to fame. You're welcome.
I
probably have lipstick on my chin now.
As a friend. Let me just say, don't
I?
ever do that again.
I have lipstick on
Oh my God, your lips go all the way down to your cleavage when you do that.
Oh, down to my ankles?
Yes, that far.
Thank you.
So I'm going to watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Cindy Lou Who and listen to the Who's and Whoville sing. And The Dog with the Reindeers is my favorite thing.
Oh my gosh. I love when he's like trying to pull in and then he goes like, yeah.
So I'm going to bake and watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas and celebrate the birthdays of, it's a busy birthday day, Brad Pitt, Billie Eilish, Sia, Christina Aguilera, Steven Spielberg, Keith Richards, Ray Liotta. They all were born today.
Oh!
Do you know how old Brad Pitt is? Brad Pitt is 56.
Wow, he's so handsome still.
I know.
Have you seen him?
Christina Aguilera is only 39. I thought she was older. She's
what? Oh, I'm thinking of Blake Shelton's
No, that's
girlfriend.
The other girl who did the terrible thing around the tree at Radio City, Rockefeller Plaza. Gwen Stefani.
Gwen Stefani.
Did I tell you about that?
Yeah, you told me. I didn't see it though.
Anyway, Keith Richards is 76. He looks like he's 102.
Oh my gosh, he looked 76 when he was 4. Seriously, he came out and his mother went, "Wow, what have you been doing in there?"
Sia's 44, but you'd never know it because you can't see her face.
Sia.
Hey, West Side Story. The new one. Did you know they redid it?
No.
They redid West Side Story.
There's another remake. Awesome. Another
but it's
reboot.
A musical.
Yeah, right, for sure.
And it's a little bit of changes. And Rita Moreno's back in it again.
Is she?
Yeah, they wrote a whole part just for her at the age of 80, whatever she is.
Oh my, she is stunning.
She is.
She has legs that just won't quit.
That is a movie that I would go and see in the cinema.
I would too. Me too.
West Side Story, you want a big screen of the music.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I will go.
I watched that story when I was a kid. Oh, that movie a bazillion times. Because I wanted to be a dancer on the Carol Burnett show. So I did. That's what I wanted to do.
You could have been that brunette. There was one that looked like you, the brunette one. I remember her. I loved her. She had big eyes and dark hair. And there's West Side Story. That's the new one.
There was no Greyhound bus out of Espanola at that time.
You couldn't get down to Hollywood.
No.
You could have replaced Vicki Lawrence.
Vicki Lawrence, yes.
She got cast as Carol's
I could have been.
Sister. They saw her at a high school show in Texas or something.
I just wanted to dance on the Carol Burnett show.
I wanted to.
I wasn't sexy enough to dance on the Dean Martin show.
I wanted to be the
Gold Diggers? No.
Dean Martin.
Yeah, the Gold Diggers, remember? I never wanted to be a gold digger because I knew, honey.
They were.
You were not equipped.
They were like slinky sexy.
Yes, very.
You wanted to be character, like
I wanted to be
dancer.
fun and covered up to my neck.
Did you ever take a dance class?
No. Oh, I did. I'm lying. Oh. I took ballroom dancing in high school with my friend Mike Belanger, who has since, like 25 years ago, married my cousin Suzanne.
Of course he married your cousin. You're from Espanola.
Hey, he's not her cousin.
I know. I'm just saying, anybody who gets married to somebody in Espanola is probably related to you because you got 36. You got 36 cousins.
I do.
And they all have children. Someone's married to a.
Yeah, someo's married to a Bourget somewhere along the line. Now there's a whole bunch of other names added too, of course. I was going to
say something and you made me forget. Oh, I know, Kevin. It's a Wonderful Life opened last night.
Oh.
The radio play version of It's a Wonderful Life.
Kevin said he thought it went well.
Kevin came in and he said, "Yeah." Okay, so Robin Waples writes the reviews for the Sault Ste.
As an aside, Robin Waples used to be a journalist for the newspaper in Espanola.
When her name was Robin Coivisto?
Yes, and also on Manitoulin Island. I know.
She was still Robin Coivisto when she wrote the review for me when I played Oliver when I was 14 years old.
No way.
I've loved her ever since because she gave me a good review.
Aww.
Anyway, so Robin Waples was there last night to write the review, and Kevin came in today to work, and he was very happy, and he said, "Is it a good thing if Robin Waples is in tears at the end of a show?" So obviously, It's a Wonderful Life was so touching that even the reviewer was moved to tears.
That's so awesome.
Unless it was just horrible, and she was like, "It was the worst thing I ever saw." No,
that's what Kevin said. He said that, or it was really bad.
No,
but it's a radio production, so like people have scripts in hand, and it's like from.
And you see them all do the sound effects.
Yeah,
if you want to really get in the Christmas spirit, it's a beautiful story and so entertaining. Go. Theater Center. Tickets are available at the door. 7:30 curtain. It goes till Saturday night.
Something to do to take your mind away from the chaos if you're in chaos about Christmas, right?
If you're in chaos about Christmas, also, this is a great show for you to watch because I have a couple of friends from CMHA.
Wait. You have friends?
Okay, well, acquaintances.
All right.
They're from the Canadian Mental Health Association, so yes, they're familiar with me. And they are here. They're here to talk about holidays and how, it can be really stressful.
To keep it together.
So we've got tips. Look at this. They gave me a whole sheet full of tips. I can't wait to go through them with you guys.
That's awesome.
No, it's a really cool segment.
And you know what? Some of the things are like easy to do. You just have to take a second to think about taking care of yourself.
Mindfulness.
Right?
It makes sense. You just got to remember.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
And then here I go. Are you ready?
Oh my God.
Aaron Gravel is here. He gave me the Sault Ste. Marie firefighter shirt.
Aren't you glad I'm not doing this? I know.
Aaron's here to talk about holiday safety in the home with firefighting.
Awesome.
And stuff.
Perfect timing for that, too.
It's a really good show. It's a really Wellness Wednesday show. So you have news.
I have news. We talk a little bit about the impeachment vote. We talk one of the saddest stories provincially yesterday. Autism cuts.
Oh, they found out they're not going to go through until like
2022.
They're not going to get any more money.
2021. So yeah, there's
devastation.
Women and fathers were hysterical, crying.
I saw a clip.
So that's coming up on the news.
Okay, Luann, thank you. And I will see you, in a couple of, we're going to do the interview with CMHA, and then you're going to come back and we'll do some
I'm going to come back.
Lovely. And you please come back too. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back. We're having some holiday cheer already. Yeah. I'd like you to welcome Ivana and Deandra to the show. They are counselors from the Canadian Mental Health Association. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Nice to have you. You've been on the show before.
I have, yes. Thank
welcome,
you.
Deandra.
Thank you.
So what we're going to talk about today are some things to bear in mind as the holidays approach, because not everybody is all like happiness and light at Christmas time. Sometimes this can be a really difficult time for people, right?
Exactly. It can be a very difficult time. I mean, there's expectations sometimes that we should be joyful and happy like we have been right before this interview. But unfortunately, things happened that people don't feel in the Christmas spirit, right? And it could be a challenge.
Or even sometimes, Deandra, the actual stress of Christmas itself will bring somebody down or make them anxious. Right?
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's where the expectations come in. There's so much pressure.
You better enjoy yourself, and this has to be perfect, and you have to make everybody happy. And you put some. Let's start at. You've given me some wonderful tips here. Yeah. Reach out. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah. Well, reach out basically just means if you're feeling isolated, like there could be several reasons why a person may feel isolated, right? Maybe they live alone, maybe they've lost a spouse or partner or a family member, friend, and they're feeling lonely.
Right.
And so that at Christmas time that can be compounded, right? Because again, the joyfulness, the family shows that show, family getting together. It's not for them though. That's not their experience. So reaching out means even if you're going to, just go out and see people, call a friend, invite a friend over. Some people have great pets. Like go out for a walk with your pet. Go to the park. Like we have some beautiful areas in the zoo. Like take your pet out there.
Right.
Like just get out and do
Make a connection, right?
So you don't feel, because the loneliness will breed depression, won't it?
Absolutely.
Right? So it's really important to not have that stance in your life. If you feel at this time that's what you're experiencing.
Just make that phone call or make that little effort and because sometimes I'm guilty of this. I'll sit home and go, well, no one's called me.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe I could make a phone call.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Or a text. Like people text now, they don't use
or
the phone
even
a lot.
what else? Sometimes I think reaching out is making a connection. You could even just go out and maybe volunteer Christmas cheer or something.
Absolutely,
You can meet people that way, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
Be realistic about the holidays, Deandra. what's your recommendation there about being realistic, keeping it real?
I mean, I think again we face a lot of pressures around the holiday season, gift giving, you know, setting these perfect dinners up and everything like that. But I think we need to be a bit more realistic about it and take that pressure off of ourselves, right? Just kind of enjoy our time with the people we love. You know, it doesn't always have to be perfect. We can create new traditions. You know, if we can't.
That is huge. I think. I think. When some, for instance, if a matriarch or a patriarch of a family passes, oftentimes that can really change the dynamic at Christmas, right? Like a grandmother or grandfather. We've always gone to grandma's house, and now grandma's not there. So what do? You know, well, let's create new traditions.
Right, absolutely.
And we're not all the families you see on the commercials either.
Right.
Speaking of families, sometimes there may be some dissonance in the family. Relations may have been severed somewhere along the way. Do you think this is a good time of year also to let stuff go, to you know, try to mend some fences? Is that an opportunity now?
Well, you know, I would
set aside differences, that kind of thing?
Setting aside differences. You know, there's expectations. Again, the expectations are sometimes, well, it's Christmas, so everybody should get along, but not everybody's going to get along if they haven't gotten along 11 months of the year.
Okay.
So, you know, so I think keep conversation light. You know, it's not at the time to talk about, you know, Uncle Gino's drinking behavior or Aunt Sue's, you know, break up with her boyfriend or girlfriend. You know, it's not the time to do that, right?
You can just you can just go into a situation and say, this is once a year, we're going to just get along.
Right? Like,
keep it like, not going to change them, accept people for who they are. Okay, so I get it. So here I am saying, reach out and try to mend fences, but maybe it's best just to sort of status quo. Okay, Merry Christmas, nice to see you, Happy Holidays.
And set the boundaries. Like, you know, you don't have to be in the family gathering for all day. Like, if you just want to be there for a few hours and then leave, that's okay too. Because sometimes that's a good thing to do. That's
kind of also being realistic with yourself too, saying, you know, for me to spend 2 hours in this house with 20 children and Aunt Sue and all these people, I will not enjoy myself, it's stressful.
Right.
Or even, I know, here's a story, somebody I know is choosing to go and see the family separately.
Yeah.
So rather than going to the whole huge family thing where everyone's going to be there, they know that for them is stressful, so they're choosing to go and visit that relative who's hosting that party earlier in the day.
Exactly.
Spend your time with your family that on your terms kind of thing.
Exactly, and you're still getting that visit, right?
Right.
You're still being respectful for that relationship.
For the person who's hosting, whatever, saying, you know, it's better for me to come by and see you now rather than the hectic stuff. I'd rather spend quality time with you, whatever, right?
Absolutely. Sure.
Budgeting, now finances at this time of the year, that I can appreciate. You know, end of the year, and you do finances get on people's minds and bring them down a little bit?
I think that's one of the biggest stressors around the season because there's so many expectations of us, right? Between meals and gift giving, again. You know, I think it's so important to set yourself a budget about how much you're going to spend. It doesn't have to be extravagant. You know, the holidays are about spending time with people and
it's cookie baking day. You could just bake some cookies for somebody.
Right, exactly. You can craft. You can make things for people. You can donate money.
Yes.
You know, think of different ideas instead of just, you know, going to the mall and shopping for people and spending all of your money away. That's just going to cause you stress.
Then you're stressed about Christmas, and then you get into the new year and you're still stressed because your finances are catching up with you.
You're paying off all your debt from Christmas.
Be sensible.
Exactly.
Self-care, you know, learning to say no.
Right.
That's hard for some people, you know. People are asking things of you. There's a lot of pressure put on you sometimes by family members who don't mean to do it, but it's just the way that it feels for you. So how do you say no?
Well, you say no by recognizing that you're an important person too, right? We have to take care of ourselves. Like we're important. And I mean, you know, exercise, eating well, as much as you can, like trying to decrease the sugars because there's lots of sugars around this time, right? And all of that stuff's not going to make you feel good. You know, that's not going to make you feel good if you overindulge, right?
Overindulge, no. So eating habits is a big thing.
Right.
I mean, we're tempted. People are putting trays and trays of stuff out. So
I think we're all guilty of it.
right. So just be mindful of that too.
Exactly.
That's part of the self-care. Learn to say no, stand up for yourself,
Right.
and take care of yourself. Take time for yourself. That's a big one too, Deandra, right?
Absolutely. I think, with the holiday season, we're often spending time shopping or cooking for other people, or just generally spending time with people, and I think it's really important for us to just take a little time for ourselves too, and just recharge a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Find things that you like to do for yourself too. Curl up with a book, or just sit down and listen to some Christmas carols or whatever.
Just decompress a little bit.
Decompress. That's big. And you mentioned earlier, create your own traditions.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of just, this is our family now. My partner Keith and I, our tradition now is that we generally do family stuff on Christmas Eve. We do our visiting, and then Christmas Day we don't go and do a big dinner anymore with the family because that felt a little hectic for us.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we chill, and then we go on vacation.
That's nice.
We fly out on Boxing Day, and that's our Christmas tradition.
Nice. Yeah.
Getting away.
Yeah.
My sisters and my brother have their own families now. They have, and their children have their own traditions, and it's wonderful to see how that evolves. So,
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Grief over the holidays.
Yeah, that could be a big one, right? Because, like you said, sometimes, you may have gone to the grandparents' house for supper, but no longer is the grandparent here. Or this may be the first time your partner is not here, right? That's a big one.
That's huge.
Yeah. So, maybe doing something different, or even foregoing the holidays altogether. That's okay. That's
Sometimes
okay.
that is okay, right?
Right, and doing something different, like maybe not this year. You might put set a place setting for that person so that you recognize that they were honored for your dinner. They're not here, but they're still honored, right?
Right.
Doing something special, a memorial for them on that day. Maybe reading a story or sharing stories about them all together. Like all those things are important.
And that's really a personal choice. I
Yeah.
mean, whether you want to remember them or whether you want to just sort of say, right now, I have to just sort of not do this, not deal with this.
Right.
Is that okay not to deal at holiday times, just to say, I'm not going to celebrate this year, I'm just going to shelve it for now until I'm ready emotionally to do this?
Of course. Yes.
So go easy on yourself.
Take care of
Give
yourself.
yourself a break.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you
definitely.
need someone to talk to, Deandra, can you tell us again about the walk-in counseling service on Tuesdays? Because it's fabulous.
Absolutely, yeah. So walk-in counseling is every Tuesday at Canadian Mental Health Association.
On Queen Street.
On Queen Street, from 11:30 to 5:30. We won't be there for the next 2 weeks during the holiday season, unfortunately. But in the new year, we'll restart, and we're there every Tuesday.
And no appointments necessary, and it's and it's free.
It's free,
It's covered, right? So
Absolutely.
if you just need someone to talk to, or if you're looking for some direction, or if you need a resource, there you go, the walk-in clinic at the Canadian Mental Health Association.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us
you're
and
welcome.
helping our viewers get some tips on how to make it through the Christmas if it is a little stressful for them. And also lots of tips online, or go to Canadian Mental Health Association's website, and I'm sure there's lots of tips there too.
Absolutely.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Deandra, nice to meet you.
Nice
Thanks
to
for
meet
being
you
here.
too.
We'll see you
Thank you.
again.
Yes,
And
yes.
please give my best to Annette.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be back with Luann right after this. Don't go anywhere.
So earlier how we were talking about, I have so many cousins in Espanola, and you have to be careful who you marry. One of my cousin's husbands jokes that the only reason that two of my cousins who are sisters, Lise and Nikki, married their husbands is because they weren't related to them.
You found somebody who isn't related, so marry them.
Isn't that funny? Ian Armstrong. And then Jim Hopkins, who married Nick. I introduced Nick and Jim because I went to high school with Jim, and we were at the Pinewood being very cool in the bar, and I introduced, and they ended up getting married.
The Pinewood.
The Pinewood in the basement. It was like huge.
Keith asked me to ask you, is there a place in Espanola were you around when there was a Fishy Fishy Bang Bang?
No.
I think I'm not mistaken. Keith said there's
Fishy,
a...
fishy, bang, bang.
And guess what it is?
A fish and chips place.
No, it's a fish and gun place. Like for real.
No. In Espanola?
I'm pretty sure. Fishy, fishy, bang, bang.
Yeah, but you people from the Sioux always think Espanola, Elliott Lake, and Blind River are all the same place. You do. Oh, you're from Elliott Lake, I heard. No, I'm from Espanola. Fishy, fishy, bang, bang.
No.
I think he's making it up.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Yeah.
There's lots of things. I got to get away from the set so I can find out all these things that I don't know.
Go.
I know this.
What?
The finale of The Voice was last night. Just about had it with the show called The Voice, where they don't choose people with the best voices.
You know what? It's a popularity contest, I'm telling you.
I think they should just, I don't know how they would do this, but what if the person just remained like you never saw them for the whole thing? Oh, that would be The Masked Singer then, wouldn't it?
Sure.
I just feel like America gets carried away with the personalities and stuff rather than The Voice.
It's a popularity contest.
Because there were 4 finalists, and even the 4 finalists, so there's a guy named Ricky Duran. I was not a fan of his. Jake Hoot, country and western singer.
How old are you?
I really like Jake Hoot's voice, but I'm not a huge country fan.
Right.
But I really liked his voice.
I like some country.
Katie Caden, she was the one that I thought should win.
He played a song that she did with Adam Lambert. Oh my word!
Okay,
Seriously.
She did Aretha for her blind audition, which means nobody can see her. She did Aretha Franklin, and all 4-chair turn. This woman has been rocking it from the very beginning.
She sang like 4 notes, and John Legend hit the button.
She came in 3rd, and then Rose Short, this amazing, oh my gosh, like gospely soul, like Whitney, like everything. She could sing everything. Didn't win. The winner was Jake Hoot, the country guy.
So what's wrong?
He was a 1-chair turn. You know what I mean? When they first auditioned, Blake turned around for him because he sang country. 1-chair turn wins the contest. The 4-chair turns come in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think that the judges who mentor them, like Blake Shelton is hugely popular. Do you think that people are voting for his contestant because he belongs to Blake? Does that make sense?
Yes, and also because they talk about the demographics of the show are similar to the demographics for Dancing with the Stars. It's a lot of middle America, and that is their thing. And they are like, anyway. The show had 9 million viewers, which sounds okay, but that's American Idol used to get 30 million for its finales.
But then it went down and down.
Yeah, so 9 million. Anyway, Jake Hoot is The Voice, the winner of The Voice, but I will not be buying his CDs. I'll be watching for Katie Caden, and when
Michael is telling me in my ear that he found a spot in Espanola called Fishy Fishy Bang Bang. There it is.
Fishy Fishy Bang Bang.
How come I haven't heard of that?
Because maybe you don't hunt and fish.
I don't.
That would be
my brother does, though.
Well, you should send your brother to Fishy Fishy Bang Bang and see if they want to sponsor the show. Now we mentioned them; they should give us some money.
That could house call girls. Fishy Fishy Bang Bang. Anyway.
So,
Michael.
Speaking of sex.
Like as if we never did.
There's an actor, I don't know this guy, Sam Taylor Johnson, and his wife, Erin Taylor Johnson. Okay, so anyway, they co-wrote and directed a movie, A Million Little Pieces. Heard of it?
Yes, I've heard of the movie.
Okay, so there was a sex scene, and he had to direct his wife in the sex scene. And they were on James Corden talking about how that all panned out and what it's like to have your wife simulating sex with an actor and being on set.
Hopefully simulating.
Well, you know who was sharing the couch with them on this episode of James Corden was John Travolta. Because he chimed in saying, I got a story for you. He was in the theaters watching Jerry Maguire, and his wife Kelly Preston was
gorgeous.
He was sitting in the theater, and she didn't warn him that there was a hot and heavy sex scene that she had to do with Tom Cruise, full on like nudity and like making out, and the dialogue was really like racy, like she had to say nasty things.
Wow!
She hadn't warned him.
Oh, awkward.
Here are the awkward was one word he said. And he also said, it was rough. He had no idea. And to sit there in a theater with all these people,
And they go, hey, that's my wife. I'm so proud of her.
Or he's like, how come you never talk to me like
Yeah,
that?
how come you never do that for me?
It's like, am I good? How come you never call my name during sex? I don't want to wake you.
I don't want to get the name wrong again.
Okay, listen, we're going to take a little break. Luann's going to have the news, and then we're going to come back and talk about holiday safety. So don't go anywhere on Wellness Wednesday. Mornings with Luann and Tim. See you in a minute.
Public high school teachers in Ontario will hit the picket lines today for their third job action in as many weeks. Educators represented by the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation will hold another one-day strike in a bid to ramp up pressure during contract talks with the government. The strike will affect 10 boards across the province, closing high schools in areas including Thunder Bay and Waterloo. The union says it's pressing the government to reverse increases to class size and mandatory e-learning requirements. The government says the main issue is compensation, as the province attempts to cap public sector salary increases at 1%. The union is asking for increases of approximately 2%. A government-appointed mediator has called off talks between the parties until the new year, saying their proposals remain too far apart. Parents of children with autism burst into tears yesterday as the Ontario government announced another delay in getting those kids the services they need. Children, Community and Social Services Minister Todd Smith announced that a needs-based program will be phased in over 2 years instead of being up and running in April as previously promised. Parents who were watching the announcement, some of them clutching pictures of their children, began weeping and saying, "Not good enough." Once fully up and running in 2021, the program will offer core services, but Smith said only the workshop and family training piece will be ready in April. The rest is underway and will be rolled out as soon as possible, he said, but it's complex and will take time to fully implement. Many details of the new plan are yet to be worked out, and Smith announced an implementation panel to sort out issues. In the meantime, families will be invited to apply by March for interim funding of either $20,000 or $5,000 to pay for services, depending on their child's age, the maximum annual amounts they were to get under a failed plan that was announced earlier this year.
Are you going to watch the House proceedings tomorrow? I'm not watching. I've not seen it. Look, it's a hoax. The whole impeachment thing is a hoax. We look forward to getting onto the Senate. We're not entitled to lawyers. We're not entitled to witnesses. We're not entitled to anything in the House. It's a total sham.
Ahead of the U.S. House's impeachment vote today, President Donald Trump blasted the articles of impeachment, both to reporters at the White House and in a fiery letter to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In the letter, he accuses Democrats of perversion of justice and abuse of power.
No, I don't take any, zero, to put it mildly. They took a perfect phone call that I had with the president of Ukraine, an absolutely perfect call. You know it, they all know it. Nothing was said wrong in that call. To impeach the president of the United States for that is a disgrace, and it's a mark in our country. And I'll tell you what, other presidents in the future, unless they do something about this, other presidents are going to have to live with this. And every time they do something that's a little bit unpopular, a little bit strong, even if they're 100% right, because I've done a great job. When you look at the kind of jobs we've created, when you look at the economy that we've created, when you look at rebuilding the military, taking care of the vets, you just take a look at what we've done with choice, veterans' choice, with accountability in the vets, with what we've done to protect our Second Amendment, and so many other things. Nobody's done as much as I've done.
General Motors is winding down production at its Oshawa assembly plant as an era of vehicle production comes to a close for the Ontario city. Some of the roughly 2,600 direct employees at the plant are expected to produce the final vehicles today, though the company cautions that the exact timeline could still shift. GM announced in November of last year that it would effectively shut down the plant along with 4 others in the U.S. It's all part of a wider restructuring. In May, the company committed $170 million to convert the plant to a stamping and sub-assembly operation and keep about 300 jobs, as well as convert part of the complex into an advanced technology test track. The end of production will have a ripple effect among the many workers and suppliers who rely on the plant, as well as the wider community. GM started producing cars in the city in 1918 and opened the Oshawa assembly plant in 1953. At its peak in the 1980s, it employed some 23,000 people and could produce as many as 730,000 cars and trucks in 1 year. Government privacy commissioners are investigating a data breach at Life Labs, one of Canada's largest medical services companies, after hackers gained access to the personal information of up to 15 million customers. The company said yesterday that most of its customers are in BC and Ontario, with relatively few customers in other locations. Chief Executive Charles Brown called the incursion a sophisticated attack that is a wake-up call for the industry. Life Labs said that the compromised database included health card numbers, names, email, addresses, login, passwords, and dates of birth, but said it wasn't sure how many of the files were accessed during the breach. However, it said the hackers did obtain test results from as many as 85,000 Ontario residents dated 2016 and earlier. The company said it hired cybersecurity experts to secure the system and determine the scope of the attack, and paid an undisclosed amount of money as ransom to secure the information.
Okay, Keith and I were talking last night, and we got talking about hygiene. We were coughing and sneezing and whatever into our arms and talking about that whole hygiene thing. And he was pointing out to me that I do a lot of touching over the. I shake hands with people.
I'm constantly,
And then we started talking about cultures and about how, for instance, there's a huge population in China, for instance, and you notice that when the Chinese people greet each other, they will bow or whatever. They're not really handshakers so much. Smart, right? If you think about that, and then you think about the Italians who come for your face.
I'm kind of that person. I have no boundaries as far as territorial surroundings for anybody.
So speaking hygienically, it's not good to go and touch people's faces and their hands, and we're better.
Well, it's good not to touch your own face.
We should take lessons and just bow to each other. Isn't that nicer?
You can kneel to me. I might bow to you. You can kneel for me. I would accept that. You know what? Another thing with the coughing, because I don't agree with that.
Coughing into your sleeve?
I do it. But if you're coughing,
said you do.
I do. Cough or sneeze into your sleeve. What if something stays there? I know that's
gross. You use your other sleeve,
right? But now you're walking around all day with goober on yourself.
Well, on your inside of your arms.
Wash
how
your
often
hands.
You go to that area of your body?
A big gob of goober. It's
have a lovely breakfast. You do this every day. We're going to come back with Aaron Gravel and talk about safety.
Sensible.
Yes. Be right back. And look, we have legs. We are always behind the desk, but I thought since we're talking about holiday safety and fires and trees and stuff, Aaron, of course, is from Sault Ste. Marie Fire Services.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's a great atmosphere. I like it.
Very festive. Yeah. And thank you for the presents. Aaron brought us these wonderful reusable shopping bags. See, environmentally friendly, and also a great message. Get it, install it, test it. Smoke alarms save lives. I told you that Keith and I were just in Sudbury at Costco, and I got my new CO for my bedroom, my monitor down there.
Perfect. Very good. You know, that's a big thing, especially this time of year. If you can get them on sale, always better. But the main thing is safety and having it installed. So this time of year, you're having company coming over, things like that. Maybe that bedroom in the basement that you're not using all the time is now being used.
Yeah.
You need to have a carbon monoxide alarm down by that basement bedroom as well.
So you need one on every level of the house, carbon monoxide? Every floor? No.
No, you
Where
need
do we
them wherever you have a sleeping area. And that's if your house requires a carbon monoxide alarm.
Okay, so yes. So in our home we have bedrooms, main floor, basement, so I need one in each.
That's right.
Sleeping area.
Yes.
My sister actually just, a tenant moved out and she's getting the house ready for a new tenant, and we went in and redid all the smoke alarms and checked everything and replaced a couple of them, checked the dates on them. This is all stuff I learned from you.
That's right. That's good. And you know what? There's actually on our website too, we have the form that she can print out that her new tenant can sign, because every year as a landlord she has to go in and do that same thing. So change a tenancy, or when you're going once a year annually.
Did you? I did not know that.
And make sure
Did
that
you know that? I didn't know that.
Get the tenant to sign it, and she can sign it, and then there's a copy, and then that eliminates the he said she said if there's issues down the road.
Issues for insurance.
That's right.
Something else we were talking about just before we came to air.
Right.
About insurance stuff. This time of the year, you're taking out a lot of extension cords and things like that for Christmas tree lights.
Power bars.
Yep. There are certifications on these things.
There's certifications on everything. If you look at everything, anything type electronic, or even stuff that's not toys, even kids' toys.
Yeah.
They have to be either ULC or CSA. There's some other different certifications. Those are the two big ones to look for.
Tell me what ULC stands for again.
It's Underwriters Limited Canada. So it's the Underwriters Laboratory. So they're the ones who certify all things to be used in Canada.
Okay, so we were talking about being a border town.
Right.
Somebody might go across the river and buy an extension cord, buy something. They are UL certified, not ULC.
Right, for the United States. So we're ULC. The C stands for Canada.
So guess what, folks? If you buy something that's UL certified but not ULC certified, and there's anything that happens, fire, whatever, electrical, your insurance isn't going to cover it unless it's certified for Canada.
Yeah, a lot of there are some similarities in them, and they might transfer, but for the most part, ULC is the one you need if you're living in Canada and you're using it in Canada. That's why ULC.
No offense to our friends who shop or work at dollar stores, but some of those products are coming from China, and they may not be registered.
Yeah, overseas, different places, and they're not always checked, or sometimes they're on the shelves for a few weeks, and then they get pulled off after that. But if people buy them in those first couple of weeks, then that could be an issue.
You might end up with just double check and make sure what you're using is certified.
And one thing we talked about too is remember, just because you haven't had a fire yet, doesn't mean you're not going to have one. So if you plug in your Christmas tree and you got 50 different plugins and they're all in one outlet, and that's fine, it hasn't caused a fire yet. That's the key word. It could.
Talk about the nail thing you talked about. You might destroy the integrity of something by using a nail or a staple.
It could be anything, right? It could be if you're hanging a picture and you pierce the side of a stud and it goes through a wire or anything like that. Just because it doesn't start a fire right away or the lights don't flicker right away doesn't mean that it's not going to cause a problem down the road. And it's not to make people paranoid, because you still have to live your life and do things, but you have to be careful with things.
Be thoughtful.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Before you leave your house, turn off your Christmas lights. So not necessarily outside, but your Christmas tree inside, any indoor decorations. If you have a light up Santa or something, make sure that you turn the lights off. Very important. Fake tree, artificial tree. Or a real tree, a natural tree. Either one, make sure it's turning off your lights.
Because there are different hazards for each. A poorly watered or maintained live tree, real tree.
A natural tree, you'll see they'll go through water the first couple weeks when you put it in. They'll go through water. You'll have to fill it 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay.
And then that keeps the needles from drying out and keeps the tree hydrated so it's not drying out.
So obviously there's more of a hazard with fire with a natural tree, but when you're talking an artificial tree, you're talking about plastics that can really toxic smoke and stuff. So either way, you've got to be careful.
Absolutely. And regardless of if you have a natural tree or an artificial tree, if you have damaged equipment or non-certified equipment and you're using it on that tree, there's potential for a fire hazard, right?
Right.
And same thing with batteries too. Make sure you're checking the batteries, because sometimes if you've put them away over for the last year and they've been sitting, maybe the battery leaked or anything like that, corrosion. If you keep it in your garage or out in the back shed, the moisture differences could affect those things. So you should always be checking everything before you go to use it for the year.
Is it true that if you dispose of batteries improperly, they can start a fire by touching the wrong way?
Absolutely.
Like you throw 2 batteries in a garbage pail or something, if they touch the wrong way.
Or in a junk drawer.
They can ignite?
Absolutely, especially if there's a piece of paper near that or anything like that. So the biggest thing to do is when you get a battery, you get the terminal, so usually the top part.
Yes.
So the positive end, and you tape over top of it.
There you go.
And then that keeps it from when they touch, there'll be tape blocking that connection.
So if you're going to dispose of them, you should still tape them and then get ready to take them to the household waste.
That's right. Or
hazardous waste disposal.
we take them sometimes. Habitat for Humanity takes them.
They take batteries?
We drop our batteries off there a lot of times.
I did not know this.
Yes, and they recycle them and they get money for them that goes towards.
I did not know
funds.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, Aaron.
Yep.
Okay, so wait, there's something else. Cooking at Christmas time.
Yes.
Do you find an increase in household fires or hazards? Or what?
Generally, from December until March, we find an increase in household fires. Still the number one in Sault Ste. Marie is cooking, and involved with cooking is drinking
and
majority
cooking.
of the time.
Holiday,
and you're cooking more during the holidays. And people always ask, well, why do fires happen more statistically from December until March? And if you think about it, your furnaces, Sault Ste. Marie, it was like -20 this morning. Furnaces are on, fireplaces are being used, extension cords for lights and decorations. You're cooking more over the holidays. All those things are more like in the summertime, you're outside more, you're doing things. That stuff's not running. You don't have as many of those things. So that's why you see, and people, for some reason, don't check their instructions. They don't go through the maintenance part of it. Everything takes a little bit of work.
Hey, you just raised a really good point. People are getting gifts at Christmas time. They may be electronic gifts. They may be new appliances.
Right.
Read the instructions.
Read the instructions. We've talked about all the shows we've been on. We talked about it. Read the instructions. Everybody just gets it. And what's the first thing you do? Put the instructions on the side.
Right.
You have to read them, and they go through and they tell you everything about it.
Right. We have a lovely fire going here.
I see that.
If you have a real fire, you got to be careful. If you're going to bed at night and you've had a fire going. Right.
And same thing if you have outside, if you're outside and sometimes people have campfires outside,
yes.
You still need an open air burning permit. It's all year, it's not just the summers.
You can't just go outside and think, hey, it's winter, I don't need to worry about it.
Exactly. You have hot chocolate and people have bonfires outside.
You need to have a permit.
You need to have a permit.
And there was one more thing I was going to say, and that was about smoking, holidays.
Yes.
People, maybe you don't have smokers normally in your house, but you have a guest over, be careful.
That's right. Large, deep ashtrays, empty them out. Suggest that they're smoking outside. If they've been drinking and consuming some drinks, try and avoid them from smoking in the house or anything like that.
That was a lot of great information, Aaron.
Yeah.
And of course, you have a website?
Yes, SaultSteMarie.ca/firesafe.
There you go. Thanks for being here.
No
Merry
problem.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas
Happy
to you.
New Year. We'll see you in the new year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Aaron Gravel, Sault Ste. Marie Fire Services. We'll be back to say goodbye with Luann right after this.
So much awesome information.
Did you know that Habitat for Humanity took batteries? I did not know that.
I didn't know that.
That's where we go with our batteries from now on. Your dead
That's
batteries.
awesome.
Take them to Habitat for Humanity and stay safe, like Aaron said. He's such a nice guy.
He's such a good guy, and
great spokesperson for them.
He really is.
Yeah.
And he's so knowledgeable. Everything you ask him, he just knows automatically. Very, very well informed.
This was a good Wellness Wednesday show, Luann.
It was, and thank you to KC Security for sponsoring the show. They always keep us well
and safe. And we'll be back. What's tomorrow? Bomb Fight Thursday.
Woo-hoo. Wow.
See you tomorrow on Mornings with Luann and Tim.
See you in the morning.